Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome back to the Hobbyist today for another impromptu episode where we fix something that has broken in the house because that tends to be happening a lot. So today we will be fixing a Brava WetJet M6. So if you're familiar with that, that's a little robot that goes around. It's like a Swiffer. That's a robot. The wheel on mine broke, so it was just going in circles. Let's take a quick look here. So here you can see the WetJet. I did already take it apart to determine if this was a fix that was doable, because the part in question, which I'll show you right here. So you can see the part in question right here. This is the replacement version. It's the wheel assembly. So on mine, what I had thought maybe it was the spring or something, just because this was pushed up. Maybe the spring came undone, or was wore out or whatever. It wasn't. It was actually the plastic sort of housing that this is in actually broke, so the wheel was no longer moving down. So this part, I think, was like $40, something like that. Having it shipped and all that was like $55. It ended up coming to, this thing is $300. So I wanted to see if even a repair was even possible. So I did already take it apart to try to see if I could do this. And the issue comes in removing the wheel, which I'll talk about here in a second. So I've obviously already done that. The issue is that the way that the wheel is in, I'm trying to show it right here. There's three screws that hold it in, but this one right here, there's actually a piece in here that goes, there's a post that it sits on, and then a piece that goes over it. So it seems like a poor design on their part, and I don't know if they have a special tool that they can separate with, but the issue is, and I watched other YouTube videos to see how this was even done. It seems like what people were doing is using a heat gun to heat up the plastic, bend it back, and then pop and remove this out, which is what I did. And the problem is, though, I heated up the top piece, and I was able to lift it up pretty easily. You kind of have to lift this up and pull it out, but it's hard to tell, what exact angle do you do it on, and how much pressure, and this is all just, plastic. And so the post that it's on broke. So this post actually sits underneath, and then there's the piece that sits on top. So this post broke off, so that happened. But I'm going with the fact that I'm pretty sure just the two screws here, I think will be fine to hold it in place. This thing is it's not that heavy, it's not that crazy. I think two will be fine. So let's take a look. So let's pull this off. We don't need this. We can lift this guy. So I did already do the removal part, which is pretty easy. You'll see me, put it back together here. I just, found some other YouTube videos of people taking it apart to kind of see, because some people take it apart to clean it, clean the things out and do all that. So the key, though, is to make sure, you can see here, I did pull out the battery, right? So I removed the battery right away because we are going to be separating wires. It's essentially the fix here. As you can see, the wires, we're just going to cut and join all the wires together. So because everything's going to be exposed, you definitely want to remove the battery so you don't have any issue of short. So here's the old one. So I've already removed it. You might be able to see the post, broke off from right there. I guess was it that side? Oh, I think I did get it off. You know what ended up breaking? It was that post. Interesting. This is the one that you have to actually kind of melt to get up. No, actually it was this one. Yeah, because I can see I just ended up breaking the rest of it off because it was broken. Okay, so I guess first things first is we're going to want to cut these wires here, and I'm just going to want to leave I'm going to cut them short to this so I can leave myself a little extra, and I'm just going to do a big cut. It's just, all right. Well, this is the broken one, and so you can see it doesn't go down anymore, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera. Where is it? Oh yeah, down here you can actually see. So this plastic broke here, right? So it can't pivot around that pin anymore. So this is broken. Move that off to the side. All right, this off to the side. So what do we got here? Let's unspool these wires. All right, so there's a couple ways you can do this. Normally, when I am just connecting two wires together, I usually use butt connectors, just because from an electrical standpoint, it's less resistance when you're soldering and using solder. That does introduce a little bit more resistance. So normally I want to do that. However, in this case, I am going to solder them together because there's not a lot of room in here. So I just want to like solder them right together, do a little bit of like sealing heat shrink on it, and just keep everything as small, because that's the thing with the butt connectors, right? They can be kind of big. So that's how I want to do that. So first things first, let's get all of these stripped. Let's see. Okie That's not gonna work. Enter old school traditional, right? Or I mean, I probably could even just use my fingernail, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll try the biggest one first. Cool. Way easier. Way faster. These other ones going. All right. All the wires are stripped. I didn't even look, but we are generally all the same color. It's interesting, although I guess it's going to go gray to purple in this case. Over here, I got an orange, I got a brown, green. Okay, these all are the same. Okay, so it's just that. Cool. If they really change the wire color on you there, then that's going to make it more difficult. All right, so let's do these real quick. All right, so we got all those wires. We got these wires. Let's start thinking about soldering some wires together. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have 3 of these, so if I hopefully I can just cut these in half, and those should be long enough. Oops, maybe. They don't cut that great, but that's just these. This is not that sharp. It's not. All right. Let's see if we can just, always good to get this on sooner than later, because I don't know how many of you have, but I've forgotten a bunch of times and had to desolder and resolder because I forgot to put this shrink wrap on, and it is important. So this is also, which I like to use a lot, is the adhesive. Right, so it's got basically like hot glue inside. So it shrinks and kind of hot glues it, which is nice. It seals it. It also keeps it from slipping and moving around. All right, so let's see how easy this is going to be to do. So if I bring this guy down here, I hold him, and make this guy. I'm just going to go hold. Let's see. Somehow I have to position these so that seems like it'll work. All right, so let's get some soldering going. Let's see. Let's try to set up right here. All right, let's get this thing starting up there. Get this out of the way. All right, so that heats up super quick. Let's grab some solder. This is the solder to use. Yeah, all right. These bad boys together. Okay, one down. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that is acceptable. On to Mr. Blue. It's going to go like that again, is it? All right, so we got Mr. Blue on one side. The other Mr. Blue on this side. Oh. All right. I would not be touching it. Yeah, hard to see. Oh, there we go. Another one down. Mr. Green. Where are you? You are over here. All right, there's Mr. Green. And you notice I'm just firing away. I'm not even tinting it. I'm just doing it as I go, I guess. Leave those. All right, now it's time for Mr. Brown. I think Mr. Brown. All right, where? Oh, way over there. We'll do this white one because it goes white to white, and then I guess purple to gray. At least there's only one mismatch. Mr. Purple. Mr. Gray. Not so close, guys. Not so close. Okay, I think that's touching. Okay, I think all those connections look good, so let's go ahead and power down. And set this off to the side so it can start cooling off. All right, so now we need to heat shrink this guy. See if we can do this in one whack without melting anything else. This is going to be hard to do them all at once, I foresee. But we're going to try. If I do it straight down, like through this open spot, like into the table. Okay, this is going to be tricky. Let's see if I burn myself. It's a little hot. Come on, guys. Shrink, shrinky shrinks. I think we got it. Out of the way. None of that feels too hot. The table can take it. All right, cool. So that should be all pretty good. All right, so now for the really fun part that I've been looking forward to, putting it back together. So I guess the wires are just going to tuck under all this jazz, and then I just need to make sure, yeah, it needs to come out like that, I think. All right, so that feels pretty good. Question is, how did this go back together? I think these black ones were the ones that went in here. So, all right, I think we got it in. That's the one I'm not going to be able to get in. There. Yeah, that's hard to see. Okay, and that's going to be interesting to get a screw in. Ugh, gosh. A little extra light. So close. Oh, yeah, we made it. So, is it going? Does it feel like it's going? I don't know. Hopefully these get tight enough. It is a little bit looser, but it might be okay. This doesn't feel like tight enough. I don't even think this is going to do anything if I try to... No, that's way too far away. I wish it did have that. So it seems to... Is that tight? Really tighter. It's just more strain on that one screw. That's, I think, trade-off. This one doesn't really get like super tight over here. Not even really snugging down. I hate that. It's just turns plastic in there. All right. So I think that is that. I think we're going to try to put this back together and see if it turns back on. It's always easier to take things apart than put them together. Come on. Yeah, that felt reassuring. So get that all the way around. Why isn't it's not clearing? I feel like that's it. Let's try to get some of these screws in and confirm. And we just get them in there and see if they get started. Yep. Where's the, we got this front skirt situation. All right, let's get this front thing on. So yeah, some of these long ones, gotta hold that on. Doesn't feel like that one's grabbing. Let's try the other side. Was there already screws in here? Oh, yes, there were. Yep. Okay. That was easy-ish. See, I got these little guys and these silver guys. I got a lot of these little guys. Okay. So it's got to be 3 here. It's got to be these 3, right? You feel like littleish? Yeah. And maybe the silvery ones go in that thing? Ugh. It's always the thing, right? Which screws go where? I never remember. Okay, so I think this goes on something like that. And I feel like that might be the little screws because there's 5 of them. Get these where they're supposed to go. There's a screw there, Dirch. Okay. Let's see. There is screw here. Is screw there. Screw there. So let's get this going. Okay, that should be just these 3. Hopefully this takes a long screw. Does. Yay. All right, now I'm gonna go through and just double check all the screws, get tightened down. So you gotta be careful with, it's like just plastic threads in there, so I don't wanna rip them out. It feels all pretty good. And I have one, oh, I should have 1 extra screw because I one of the wheels. Okay. Woo! Dodged a bullet. All right, let's take a look at this thing before. I know I got to replace this button. Right now, I have to eject the pad by like jamming that in there. All right, let's look inside. I'm gonna just want to clean this out before I get it going. Let's put the battery in and see if it turns on and or shorts out. All right, so here is the battery. Okay, I think the wheel seems okay. I don't know how much juice was in the battery, or even how you turn this guy back on. It's been sitting here for a little while. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. So for the moment, I am going to just hope that it just needs to go back on the base and charge a little or reset or some such thing. So I will go do that. It seems to be okay. It seems to be all together correctly and all that. So we'll take a break for now and come back and see how it all turned out. All right, so I did just go stick it on its charging base. It does look like the battery was dead. So I went through the whole process of reconnecting it to the Wi-Fi. It is coming up in the app now. It does seem to appear to be working. The battery, like I said, is very low. So I'm gonna have to let it charge for a while. Once it charges, I'll test it and drive it around, make sure it drives. I'll go ahead and put in some footage right here so you guys can take a look and see that thing going. But it does look like it worked. And I would definitely rate this at this point, unless for some reason it just doesn't drive. Final test, but everything looks okay. As long as it drives, I would say this test was definitely worth it, or at least this fix, I should say, was worth it, right? Like, was it worth, risking the, 50, 60 bucks, versus having to buy a new one or just not having it or going back to it just a Swiffer. So it was definitely worth it. It was an easy fix. It was the easy thing to do. So, I hope this helps you guys. Please like and subscribe if this video helped you out. All right, thanks. Have a good one.